Here we go.
You only had one job, America.
Today I'm reviewing Burning Sands. This movie immediately earned credibility for me after it got released, after some of the people on my Facebook who are in Divine Nine fraternities didn't call it a crock of shit. Not saying that they're my primary source of my information, but if it wasn't accurate in its depiction of the pledging process, then they probably would have called it a piece of shit already. Most of the comments that I saw were, "We need to talk about this on a private forum." Interesting. I felt the same way after watching Don John. I also caught a little bit of flack on Instagram and on Twitter with messages or comments that were like, "You know what, you weren't in a Divine Nine fraternity, you joined a historically white fraternity. You shouldn't be reviewing this." There are also people who say there are way too many cranberry juices at the grocery store. Now that that's out the way, we open the film with a little bit of narration from the main character. Scholarship, honor, brotherhood, and getting bitches. First interesting point he makes is that his father didn't make it. There may actually be more respect for GDIs than people who dropped. Or as this film says, goddamn individuals. We're immediately told who to like and who not to like. Square, he's an underdog. That dark nigga in the passenger seat, he's an asshole. I don't know what his problem is, and it's never explained throughout the entire film. Then we get a couple random establishing shots, and then we get our first pledging scene. Not that bad so far, just a couple push-ups. Oh, he's kicking him. It just looks like boot camp right now. Another guy tries to get down there and see if he can take some of the kicks, and we see how easily a nigga can get dropped. He's pushed away, called a bitch. I mean, he kinda lets him do that. I ain't saying he a bitch, but the shoe fits. On the car ride home, asshole character says asshole things. Noble character says noble things. And they make that nigga walk home. 3 weeks of pledge loyalty down the drain. We never see that character again. You kind of think he's like really close to Zurich. Zurich is the main character. But we kind of never see him again. I do laugh a little bit when he calls the guy football head in the back seat, because he kind of does look like Gerald from Hey Arnold. We pull up to Whataburger and they're getting food for the Lambda brothers, and we get our first glimpse of what a thought. The guy in the back seat has his face on. I don't know if he was doing it intentionally. Hilarious. Bring the food to the Lambda brothers and we get our first and only glimpse of titties in this movie. There's this weird back and forth thing with three brothers getting the food. I really felt like this scene would have benefited more if they just had one, and you know which one I'm talking about. Y'all ain't bring no napkins? Now we get a little bit over the top with Titty Minifro yelling at them. I've been to some probates. I didn't know they do that face all the time. Next scene, Zurich, which is a weird fucking name, is fucking his girlfriend. Well, you know that ain't gonna last long. He's got hurt ribs. Doesn't seem to be bothering him right now. The ribs only affect him when plot needs conflict. For a moment, I'm like, why did this lady just walk in like that? Then I remembered. Dorm life. So the main character stinks. It's a common theme throughout the film. We also learn that Square is joining so he can get some pussy. Our main character says he'll get pussy regardless. Why am I supposed to like this main character? We get to the quad and there's this early morning probate. Maybe this happens at HBCUs. I mean, if this film is trying to go for the pledging is so underground, why would they have the probate in broad daylight? I have seen probates. I'm not saying they don't happen in the early morning, but I've never seen it happen. I don't know. Apparently it's a rule during Hell Week that you're not supposed to be caught on the quad. Why does Zurich start walking towards the probate? Why does he drag Square down with him when he gets caught on the quad? I don't like this main character. We cut to the classroom and slavery is being talked about. A student says with the right doctrine you can get someone to believe anything you want and be able to brainwash them. Obviously that's the director's commentary on Greeks believing that the hardships of pledging will have light at the end of the tunnel. Hey, that's not me. That's the director. Then the two females have an argument about the authentication of what they read for homework. Or is this an argument that the director knows people are going to have about the film? Burning Sand says this happens during pledging. Well, I pledged, and just because it says that doesn't mean that happens. If these things happen during pledging, how is the film not accurate? I'm not saying this doesn't happen. I'm saying a film is a film. This argument is real because the topic is real. Hey, and that teacher is that lady from Luke Cage, who I don't know if I'm attracted to or I just really respect what she does. This scene is simply to set up the romantic connection that goes absolutely nowhere. A juke at a party, a small conversation, and a little stereotypical sorority girl persona that comes out of nowhere. Yeah, and the main character is capable if he puts his mind to it. They talk in the office. If there's no struggle, there is no progress. Let me tell you, this film is obsessed with Frederick Douglass. Rightfully so. He was a former slave who escaped and showed that there's intelligence in a lot of black people. He challenged women's rights, racial equality, the education system. He challenged authority, kind of like this film. The next scene is about the philanthropy face of the fraternity. Zurich sees his girlfriend and she's like, oh, we got plans tonight. It's Hell Week. Why are you making plans? You know he's gonna have it hard this week. Why are you being difficult? Plot. He is seen talking to the dean, and we get this hilarious homoerotic scene between him and one of the Lambda brothers as he's about to take a shower and he's lecturing him. This scene is borderline pointless, but I'm not saying it doesn't happen. We get an irrelevant car wash scene where they just show more hazing. We get it. We cut to a scene with him and his girl to show that he has intelligence of geography. I still don't like him. They call him. She says don't answer. What is wrong with you? You know he has to answer this phone. Another step closer to their obvious breakup. So he's late again and he doesn't follow the instructions. Okay, that's the problem I have with this film. He fucks up a lot. So when he gets hazed and beat up because he didn't listen, should I feel bad? Branding. I could not do that. One of the pledges kind of looks like Michael B. Jordan. Oh, and we get treated to Zurich's amazing acting. Look, I got a girl, so that acting. It takes some serious brains to get with me. Sure.
Video long as hell.